The first cry sliced through the hospital like lightning tearing open a silent sky. A mother's scream, a baby's fading breath, a moment that could break a nation's heart. Every head turned. Nurses froze mid-step. The walls themselves seemed to shudder at the sound of pure desperation. The sun outside roasted the streets of Ouagadougou, but inside the National Hospital, the coldness of helplessness lingered in the air. Fear, sweat, the metallic scent of medicine failing to save those who needed it most. President Ibrahim Traoré was not here to command attention. No cameras, no entourage. Only one loyal aide walking beside him, both moving quietly through the pale hallway to visit an injured friend recovering from surgery. His security waited far away, exactly as he insisted. Leaders, he believed, should walk among their people, not above them. Then that scream came again, this time weaker, closer, a cry that begged the world not to look away. A young woman stumbled into the hall, clothes dust-covered, hair clinging to sweat and tears. In her trembling arms lay a tiny baby wrapped in worn, faded pink fabric. The bundle barely moved. "Please." Her voice cracked like glass grinding underfoot. "Please, sir. Help me, my baby. She's dying. Don't let her die." She collapsed to her knees. No dignity left. Only a mother's last hope. People stepped closer, breath held, heart sinking. Ibrahim lowered himself to her level, his eyes fixed gently on the child. "What is your name?" His tone was soft yet firm, the kind that commands attention without raising a voice. "Salamata," she whispered, sniffing. "My husband. He died 2 weeks ago. My daughter became sick yesterday. I brought her here early morning. They said I must pay before they will help." Her arms tightened around her child. "I have no money, please. She is only 6 months old." The baby's lips had turned dangerously pale. Her breathing came in small, uneven tries, like life was slipping away in tiny pieces. Ibrahim's aide stepped forward, ready to bark orders, but Ibrahim raised a hand without looking. "Let her speak." He gently pressed his fingers to the baby's cheek. Cold, too cold. His jaw tightened. "Where are the doctors?" he asked, voice suddenly sharp. "Where's the nurse on duty?" "They refused us," Salamata cried. "No monies, no care. They pushed us away." That was the moment something inside Ibrahim broke. A fire, a promise, a silent vow that no child in his land would die because of money. He rose in one swift motion, eyes burning with quiet fury. "Call the hospital director now." The aide sprinted away. Within moments, the director arrived, face soaked in nervous sweat. "Your Excellency, we were not informed of your visit." "I am not here as the president," Ibrahim cut in, voice low but fierce. "I am here as a father of this nation. And today one of my children was refused care." His eyes locked onto the director's shaking ones. "Tell me, why?" "There must be a misunderstanding," the director stammered. I will check immediately." The hallway held its breath. An infant's future hung in the balance, and Ibrahim Traoré wasn't going to budge. "Stop checking," Ibrahim said, voice cold enough to freeze the air. "Take this child to the emergency room. Treat her as if she were my own daughter." No one dared to hesitate. Nurses rushed forward, lifting the tiny baby from her mother's shaking arms. For a moment, the hallway felt suspended in time. People watched silently, hearts beating like drums of prayer. A nurse secretly snapped a picture. History was unfolding, and she knew the world would soon see it. Salamata collapsed to the floor, her sobs loud enough to shake the soul of any witness. "Thank you. Thank you, sir. God bless you." Her fingers dug into the tiles as tears wet the pale surface. Ibrahim knelt beside her, his hand resting on her trembling shoulder. "No child in this land will ever be denied treatment because of money. This is my promise to you." That single moment planted a seed of hope in every heart present, a spark of change waiting to burn brighter. Inside the emergency room, urgency raced through the air. Doctors and nurses moved like warriors fighting a silent enemy. Machines beeped. Oxygen hissed. Commands cut through tension, pulse fading. "Oxygen now." "Blood test immediately." "Infection suspected." "Prepare antibiotics." The baby lay on a small bed, her chest fluttering like a candle struggling against the wind. A nurse placed a mask over her tiny mouth. Another wrapped a warm blanket around her fragile body. Outside the glass window, Ibrahim stood still with clenched fists. Leaders are often trained to hide emotion. Right now, he didn't bother. The hospital director hovered beside him, voice cracking. "Your Excellency, we have rules. Deposit must be paid before treatment." "How much?" Ibrahim asked without turning his head. 35,000 CFA, the director whispered. That number felt like poison. 35,000, Ibrahim repeated. "Enough to let a baby die today." The director swallowed hard. "It is not much for most people, sir. Rules are rules." The hallway temperature dropped. Ibrahim's stare could have melted steel. "I know the difference between rules and cruelty. From this day forward, emergency care will not depend on a wallet. If someone's life is in danger, you save them first. Money can come later." His command echoed like thunder rolling across the nation's conscience. The director nodded rapidly. "Yes, sir." "Immediately, sir." Salamata stepped closer, wiping tears with the back of her hand. "Sir, they are treating her now." "But will she live?" Before Ibrahim could reply, the doors opened. Dr. Jules emerged, exhaustion all over his face. "She is extremely weak," he said quietly. "The next 24 hours are crucial." Salamata's knees buckled. Ibrahim caught her before she hit the ground. "She will live," he said, steady and sure. "She must live." A nurse came out holding a tiny plastic bag of soiled baby clothes. "Madam, these were all she had." Salamata hugged the bag like it was treasure. Ibrahim turned to his aide. "Get clothes, diapers, a stroller, food. Everything this mother and child will need for at least 3 months. Include transport and feeding money." "Yes, Mr. President." She stared at Ibrahim, disbelief glowing in her tear-soaked eyes. "I have never seen a president like you." An hour passed. The aide returned with supplies piled high and an envelope filled with money. Ibrahim sat beside the mother again. "Tell me your story," he said with genuine concern. She exhaled shakily. "My husband was a driver. We lived a simple life. He had an accident 2 weeks ago." Her voice broke. "I have no family here, no job. When the hospital told me to leave, I thought walking home would be the end for both of us. I could not watch her suffer anymore." The hallway fell still. Ibrahim lifted her chin gently. "Your journey does not end in sorrow. Today marks a new chapter." Before she could respond, another doctor rushed out with a precious smile. "She is responding well. Her breathing is stronger. We believe she is going to recover." The mother dropped to her knees once again, thanking God through unstoppable tears. Relief poured from her heart like water bursting through a dam. A moment of miracle. A mother saved. A leader reborn in the eyes of his people. Ibrahim looked at the tiny life inside the glass room and felt the fire inside him burn brighter than ever. This was just the beginning. "Come," Ibrahim said gently, eyes glowing with warmth. "Let us see her together." They stepped into the softly lit room. Machines hummed like guardians watching over life. Little Miam lay on the small bed, wrapped in clean white cloth, her tiny fingers twitching as if fighting to hold on to the world that almost let her slip away. Her eyelids opened slowly, and her gaze found her mother, a small attempt at a smile, fragile but full of life. "Miracle in motion." "She remembers you," a nurse whispered, hope blooming across her face. Salamata leaned close, her lips trembling. She brushed the baby's tiny hand with a fingertip, afraid to breathe too hard. "Mayam, Mama's here. You're safe now. You're going to stay with me. I promise." Ibrahim looked away for a second, swallowing emotion. Tears pricked at his vision. This wasn't politics. This wasn't duty. This was the reason he carried the weight of a nation on his shoulders. He approached his aide. "In this world, kindness must not be a luxury. Arrange a small home for her, and a job in the civil service. She has lost enough." "Yes, Mr. President." That night, when Ibrahim finally walked out of the hospital, the moon hung bright above the city. He paused before entering his car and stared at the sky. "Thank you for guiding me here," he murmured. Great change begins with small acts. It wasn't the speeches, not the crowds, not the medals. It was the hallway where a mother fought for her child's life that forced a leader to act. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the children's ward like a blessing. Birds chirped near the windows, unaware of the miracle inside. Mayam slept peacefully, her breathing slow but strong. Salamata hadn't closed her eyes all night, afraid to miss even one moment of her daughter choosing life again. "Thank you," she whispered after every breath the child took. "Thank you for letting me still be her mother." The doors opened quietly. Ibrahim stepped in without any cameras, without the noise of power. Just a guard, just his aide, just his heart. "Good morning," he smiled. "Good morning, sir," Salamata said, standing so fast her chair slid behind her. "How is little Mayam today?" "She will live," the mother breathed, joy glowing through exhaustion. "That is the best news I have heard this entire year," Ibrahim said, his voice softening. He approached the tiny warrior on the bed. "You are a fighter," he whispered to her. "Yes, she is," Salamata replied, holding her daughter close. "She is all I have left." "You have more than that now," Ibrahim said with certainty. "A country stands behind you, and I want you to start fresh, stronger than before." Her eyes widened, fear and hope locking hands inside her heart. "I spoke with the Minister of Social Affairs this morning," Ibrahim continued. "You will move into a new home, a safe one. You will start work as a receptionist in a government office. Your life is not over. It is beginning again." Salamata fell to her knees, overcome. Her tears reached the floor faster than her words. "Sir, how can I ever thank you? May God surround you with protection. May He reward you." Ibrahim lifted her gently. "Stand, my sister. Burkina Faso is your home. No mother should beg to save her child." She clutched his hands, gripping hope itself. "You changed everything. I will never forget this day." Just then, Mayam opened her eyes fully. She looked around the room with curious innocence. A small sound escaped her lips. "Ma, ma." Time froze. A mother's heart exploded with relief and joy. She hugged her baby as if the world could never tear them apart again. And Ibrahim watched, silently promising he would protect every child in his nation as fiercely as he protected this one. Mayam's tiny body wriggled gently in her mother's arms. Weak, fragile, but alive. That single truth felt like a miracle. Ibrahim watched her move, eyes shining with tears he didn't try to hide. That soft little sound from her lips was the most beautiful thing he had heard all year. Nurses exchanged smiles behind the door, whispering among themselves, "This president. His heart is different. He does not rule from a throne. He kneels beside his people." Hours later, the hospital director returned, this time not with excuses, but with a full team from the Ministry of Health. His voice carried regret instead of pride. "Madam, we failed you. We are truly sorry. From today forward, no one will ever be denied emergency care because of money. The new policy will be enforced immediately." Hope lit up in Salamata's eyes. "I pray no other mother goes through what I did." Ibrahim stepped forward. "Prayers will not change this nation. Action will. I will personally ensure that every hospital, every clinic follows this. A life must always come first." His voice was a promise to millions. That afternoon, a government van arrived at the hospital gate. 2 women from the housing department stepped out, carrying documents, keys, and gentle smiles. They were here to escort the mother and child into a new life. "Sir," Salamata asked softly, clutching Mayam close, "may I thank the nurses and doctors before I leave?" Ibrahim nodded with a smile that held the warmth of family. "Gratitude is the mark of a healed heart. Go, they deserve it." Salamata walked through the corridors where her nightmare had become a miracle. She took each nurse's hand, bowing her head in humility. "You saved my daughter. May God bless every breath you take." One nurse gave her a tiny cloth pouch, vitamins and medicine. "And remember next week's checkup?" "I won't forget," she whispered. Stepping outside, sunlight kissed her face. It didn't feel harsh anymore. It felt like a sign, a blessing. Her baby's heartbeat matched the rhythm of her hope. At the gate, Ibrahim stood watching them, not as a president, as a witness to courage, a protector of innocence. She lifted her free hand in farewell. "Thank you again for everything." The van doors closed. Muyam snuggled against her mother's chest, breathing stronger now. As they drove away, Salamata kissed her daughter's head. "You will grow up in a kinder world. I will tell you the name of the man who saved your life and taught me to believe again." That night, the story spread across Burkina Faso like fire catching dry grass. TV channels paused their usual reports. Screens filled with images of a crying mother, a dying baby, and a leader who refused to look away. President Ibrahim Traoré, one broadcaster said, voice breaking, has reminded the world that leadership means caring for the weakest first. People watching wiped tears. Some prayed. Some smiled for the first time in months. A spark of hope had ignited across the land. In crowded markets, old women selling vegetables paused their bargaining. "Did you hear?" one asked. "I did," another replied, placing a hand over her heart. He walked into that hospital as a man, and walked out like an angel. In classrooms, children drew pictures. A mother hugging her baby. A president kneeling to help. Small hands coloring big hope. Government officials everywhere grew tense. The story was a warning. Ibrahim was watching. The nation was watching. Letters arrived at every medical facility, sealed with the presidential stamp. No emergency patient shall ever be refused treatment because of money. Save the life first. Payment can wait. Every life matters. This wasn't just a new rule. It was a new era. The room was filled with a gentle warmth as tiny Mayam stirred against her mother's chest. She was still weak, but the life inside her refused to give up. Her tiny fingers curled around the fabric of her mother's dress as if claiming the right to exist, to breathe, to grow. Every movement, no matter how small, felt like a fight she was determined to win. President Ibrahim watched from a few steps away, his hands clasped behind his back. His eyes glistened with tears he didn't bother to hide. That soft, breathy sound escaping from the baby's lips was the most beautiful sound he had heard in a long time. It was hope, wrapped in the body of a fragile little girl. Outside the room, nurses stood at the doorway, peeking in with quiet smiles. One leaned slightly closer to her colleague and whispered, "This president, he really has a heart bigger than any crown." Hours later, the hospital director arrived with officials from the Ministry of Health. Their once confident expressions were now humbled by responsibility. "Madam," the director began, meeting Salamata's gaze with sincerity, "we are truly sorry for what happened. From this moment forward, no emergency patient will ever be refused treatment because of money. A new policy will be enforced immediately." A flicker of disbelief flashed in Salamata's tired eyes. "I pray that no mother suffers what I suffered." President Ibrahim nodded firmly. "I will make sure this policy is followed in every hospital across the country. Every life matters. Every cry deserves to be answered." That afternoon, a government van arrived to take Salamata and Mayam to their new home. Two women from the housing department stepped out with friendly smiles. "We are here to help you settle into your new place," one said. "Everything has been arranged." Before she left, Salamata turned to Ibrahim. "Sir, may I go thank the doctors?" "Of course," he replied with warmth. "Take your time." She walked through the hospital's long corridors, each step echoing gratitude. She stopped at every nurse station. She held hands, bowed her head, and whispered words that rose straight from her heart. "God used you to save my daughter. May he bless your hands." One nurse handed her a small cloth bag. "These are vitamins and medicine for the baby. There is a checkup next week. Please don't forget." "I won't," she promised, her voice trembling. Stepping out of the building, sunlight washed over her face. She closed her eyes, breathing in the air as if it tasted new. Freedom, relief, joy. Her daughter was alive. She glanced back at the hospital. The place where death had almost won, but hope prevailed. At the gate, Ibrahim stood silently, hands in his pockets, watching her. He waved, gentle, humble. She smiled and whispered, "Thank you again, sir." She settled into the van with the sleeping child against her chest. As they drove away, she murmured into Mayam's soft hair, "You will grow up in a better world. One day I will tell you about the man who saved your life." That night, the story spread like wildfire across Burkina Faso. News anchors recounted the emotional moment, the president rushing to help a crying mother, the strict hospital rule overturned with a single compassionate act, and the fragile baby who had become the heart of a nation. "Life comes first. Money can wait," one reporter said solemnly. "Leadership is not about power," another intoned. "It is the ability to feel the pain of the weak and act swiftly." Across the country, people cried tears they didn't expect. Hope, long buried beneath struggle, rose from the ashes. In noisy markets, women selling vegetables paused their gossip. "He came as a man," one said, "but left like an angel," the other replied. Children in schools drew colorful crayons across paper, sketches of a president holding a tiny baby, a mother smiling through tears. Teachers used the story to remind young hearts about empathy and courage. Government officials sat in their offices, restless. Their routines of paperwork and carelessness felt exposed. The president's watchful eyes were everywhere now. Within days, hospitals and health centers received a national order embossed with Ibrahim's signature. "No hospital shall refuse emergency treatment for lack of payment. Every life matters." Some hospital staff wept with regret, remembering the names and faces of patients they could not save in the past. Among them was Amaniata, a nurse who stepped outside at sunset, shame and determination battling in her heart. "How many lives were lost because of a deposit?" she whispered. "We must do better than this." Meanwhile, in her new 2-room government apartment, a miracle was unfolding. Mayam, once fighting for each breath, now giggled as she squished mashed banana between her tiny gums. The sound of her laughter filled the small home like music. "You like that?" "Yes, you do," her mother said, wiping crumbs from tiny cheeks. "You've grown so fast." Her voice cracked with gratitude. The apartment was not grand. A single bed, a simple kitchen, a tiny bathroom. Yet for a woman who had once slept on the floor with an empty stomach, this was paradise. A soft knock came at the door. A young woman stood outside, notebook in hand. "Good evening. I'm from the National Women's Association sent by the President's office. We want to support you as a single mother. Are there any needs you want help with?" You want to help me?" she asked in disbelief. "Yes," the woman nodded. "We are beginning a training program, tailoring, trade skills, small businesses, anything to help you build a strong future. Would you like to join?" Hope made Salamata's entire face glow. "Yes, anything for my Mayam's future." "You are not alone anymore," the woman smiled before leaving. After she closed the door, Salamata held her baby close, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I never imagined a day like this," she whispered. Elsewhere, President Ibrahim sat in the quiet of his study. On his desk lay a thick file filled with complaints from hospitals, stories of suffering long ignored. He picked up a pen and wrote across the cover, "Urgent reform required. Health is a human right." His assistant approached cautiously. "Sir, there are still many complaints from poor citizens. More filings have arrived today. Should I prepare another box?" "Yes," Ibrahim said, his voice firm as steel. "Bring every report from every corner of the country. But, sir, that may be too much for one man to handle." Ibrahim looked out through the wide windows, the night sky reflecting in his eyes. "Then we will not let one man handle it," he said. "Every governor, every mayor, every hospital director will share this burden with me. I believe good hearts still exist in this land." 3 weeks passed. Mayam grew stronger. Her cheeks filled out, her laugh became louder. She tried to sit up, clutching her mother's fingers for balance. Her life was now a celebration of small victories. Salamata, now a government receptionist, left for work each morning with pride. She wore clean clothes, carried herself with dignity, and greeted every visitor with a smile that carried the warmth of her second chance. People remembered her as the woman who always said, "Thank you." Behind that gratitude stood a mother transformed by survival, determined to never let darkness touch her child again. One peaceful evening, she sat beneath a shady tree outside her apartment, Mayam asleep against her heart. The sun dipped low behind the rooftops, painting the world gold. Little girl from the neighborhood hesitated nearby. "Is it true?" she asked shyly. "Did the president save your baby?" A soft smile formed on Salamata's face. "He saw me crying and helped us when no one else would." The girl's eyes widened. "Did you know he was the president?" "No," she chuckled. "To me, he was just a kind man." The girl looked up at the sky with innocence. "One day, I want to be like him." Salamata leaned close and whispered, "You can start right now. Be kind to the people around you. That's how greatness begins. That same night, the president sat for a live television interview. The host eventually asked what the world had been wanting to hear. "Sir, what did you truly feel that day at the hospital?" He took a moment before speaking. "When I saw that mother crying," he said, voice steady yet emotional, "I did not see a stranger. I saw my own mother, my wife, my daughter. No family deserves to suffer while help is only a few steps away." He leaned forward slightly. "I am not here to rule. I am here to serve." Across the nation, people listened with full hearts. Some cried openly, others not.